Good day, welcome to JustLovingPeople.com, the program from South Korea. This week we're talking about faith, and the first day I've started to talk about childlike faith. We had the kiddies singing for us. If you missed it, JustLovingPeople.com is the website to listen to past episodes that you have missed. And then we talked about faith and airplanes and how you fly in airplanes and just believe that they will reach their destination like the one going past us now. And then I started to talk about me going to Bible school. God called me to be his donkey, carrying him into the lives of people. And then we also talked about how I raised the money through a donut store that God provided. And yesterday we talked about the power of the tongue. And they wanted to close down my store. And I said, today we will sell donuts. We will not close. And it happened just like that. As I said yesterday, the store manager came back to me and he said, well, you can finish your stock, but then you need to go because you are hurting these businesses outside. So we finished our stock, and in that time I bought 5 donut machines, which I then rented out the next year to pay my pocket money, but I could pay the whole year in cash. And it all started with Jesus calling me as a donkey, and it all started with a childlike faith. But then the test came. Okay, so let me tell the story about the test. It was my second year in Bible school, and we did kind of a fundraise, so we were dressed in overalls, and then we went to the busy streets, and we we call it, I don't know, what do you call that in how do you explain it, but it's
fundraising.
Yeah,
You stand on street corners and you hold the can and you ask people to donate money to the school or to a trip or it's fundraising.
Yeah, you actually dance and you have makeup on and you just entertain people, and they stop next to the road and drop a coin or a few coins. And we did this because our Bible school went through this terrible time. We actually lost our buses, all 3 of them. The one we lost in an accident, the other one, was stolen, I remember. And the other one, the people who sponsored it, they couldn't pay the payments anymore. Then we also lost our building, our farm. But I remember when, a few months before that happened, the Lord gave me a vision that this would happen. And he told me, write it down with the date. And when this happened, show it to the leadership. And sometimes God gives you a word or a prophecy or a dream, but it needs time. Well, this is the only time in my whole life that I had the vision. I wrote it down, I put it in my file, and I kept it there for a few months. And the day they called us in and said, listen, we need to fundraise. We're out of money. We've lost almost everything. I said, wait, don't worry. I went to my room. I pulled that prophecy and I just said, listen, we are not going down. We are going up. God showed me this would happen a few months ago, and look there, God said it's going to be okay. Now then what happened, and just quickly listen to my words. I said it's going to be okay. God is going to pick us up. We are not going down, although it looks like we're going down. What happened just a few days after that, our band leader, he met this young lady at at a resort. They fall in love, and her father happened to be one of the richest, biggest business owners in South Africa, Christian. And so he heard about our Bible school, and not long after that, he donated a whole farm to our Bible school. A whole farm with houses, squash courts, everything we needed, golf courses, swimming pools, everything we needed, he donated. And then also buses, and he just picked us up. But anyways, that very day I was standing there raising funds before the breakthrough came, and then this white BMW pulled up to me. the window opened slowly and I could feel the aircon, which was nice because it was hot in the sun. And guess who was in the BMW? The guy who started working with me. His name was Peter. We started on the very same day at the company where I worked as a computer technician. And and he just looked at me pale and like, oh, Lawrence. And I'm like, oh, Peter. And just imagine that test of that moment. I trusted the Lord. I left my career as IT man behind, followed Jesus like a child, childlike faith. And yeah, I have to beg for money, kind of, to keep my school afloat. And here he's sitting in his BMW aircon that I needed so much in my face at that moment. And as that BMW drove off, I just thought, what was in my mind? I just think, well, Jesus, I still want to do this. I still want to follow you. I still want to trust you. I had no doubt in my heart as that BMW drove off about the choice I made. It was just out of hundreds of cars or thousands, this BMW pulled up. And there he was looking at me with his tie and, his suit and whatever. And I was there actually begging for money to save our Bible school. But childlike faith, childlike faith, even in that moment, I don't know how I did it. I think the Holy Spirit helped me, but I did not worry a bit. I just let it go. And so our Bible school took off. It took off like one major thing after just a few months. And we found ourselves in this awesome place. And there I've seen big miracles. I've seen how when we did these shows, we had like 20 or 30 people a night, kids coming to the shows. And then we went to this one school and they were gangster fighting and they moved us out of the school hall of a show to a church. And I thought, tonight nobody will show up. It's in the church. Kids don't go to church, during weekdays. But as I looked through the door, we had 1,000 kids. 1,000 kids piling up, standing in line, even out of the parking down the road. I'm like, oh, there's 1,000 kids out here. We are used to 20 or 30 kids at one event. And from that night, I remember night after night, as we pulled up school halls, church halls, wherever we went, lines of kids waiting, enough to fill up every place that we booked. If it was small, we had enough. If it was 1,000, it was filled. And it was just amazing how the Lord, I think, through our faith, just kept us afloat.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It is, we never see God's full plan for us. We only see the part where we are in now. And there are lots of times where everyone asks, why? Why this? Why here? Why now? Why? And it's in those moments of not knowing why. And only God knows why. Where your character gets formed, where your faith gets stronger, and where your spirit just go into this obedience and you just start to get quiet. And then you hear the next thing, where you should be next. And when you're through all of those phases and you stand there on the stage and you see the 1,000 children,
Yeah.
then you know why. Why you had to go through everything. Why your faith had to be strong enough. Because if you just stood on a stage of 1,000 children and your character didn't form or your faith didn't grow, how are you going to handle that responsibility of 1,000 souls at a night? So that is why. So next time something happens and it's totally random and totally weird and it absolutely makes no sense whatsoever for your flesh, you just remind yourself, God knows what He's doing. And that's called faith, to hold on to God no matter what the eyes see or what the flesh touches. God knows the grand plan for you. And you just keep on looking up at God. And you hold on with your whole being. And you don't look left or right. You just look up. And you just rejoice over everything. And God will get you through that.
Absolutely. I've seen it this week. As you know, I went through this stage of worry. I worried a lot because we have radio bills to pay. We have other bills to pay. I worried a lot. And it affected my whole being. And yes, I'm preaching about faith and my goodness. It sounds like I'm the perfect man. No, I had to learn this lesson again this week, And I remember I just lay down on my bed and said, God, I need your help. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. I don't know, how we're going to keep this ministry afloat. And then I just switched on a podcast and I listened to Mr. Kenneth Copeland where he spoke about faith and get rid of worries. And he said a simple thing. He said, write down the worries that you have on a piece of paper, take communion, and leave it. Let it go, because the Bible say, don't worry about tomorrow. Man, that's big. Don't worry about tomorrow. And yet I was worrying day in and day out about our ministry and a lot of things. Anyways, I did what he said. I wrote down those things on a sticky note. I took communion and I said, I will not worry again. I will not worry again. And it was so cool. 2 days later, we went to the bank to pay some bills. And guess what? That very same day that I worried about that specific bill, the money was paid in. And we paid the bills. And I'm like, Jesus, you provided. And now we still had the outstanding radio bills. So, well, that is just amazing. The next day, my father sent me a message. And the message said, well, I think I will tell you tomorrow. I need to let you hang in there because we are almost out of time.
So from me, Michelle, God bless you and love one another. God bless. Bye-bye.
Yeah, excuse me. I was joking up. No, but definitely tomorrow I will tell you more about what happened, how God provided even just in this week. So the faith journey is not something that you can just do once a day. It is something that you need to keep running and keep going. Well, we are out of time. JustLovingPeople.com is the website. Please go there. You can see photos, movies, even our podcast being launched this week. And you can listen to past episodes. Please subscribe. We would love to have you on our list. And yes, please support the radio station you're listening to. They bring us to you. Please make sure that they stay on the air. So from me, Lawrence, and my wonderful wife, Michelle, from South Korea, here from the mountaintops, we say God bless you. And tomorrow I will finish my story about how the Lord paid our bills this month. Be strong, have faith. Goodbye.